And we're going to talk about what's changed the last 12 to 24 months. You know, I can tell you we've been doing this a long time, 17 years. Every cycle of about a year or two, a lot does change. So we'll kind of focus in on that. There's things out there that I think explain why a lot of you are not at the point of profitability yet, and I'll talk about that, how we really feel we're going to be able to fix it for you, give you the full details that you need to enroll in the Premier Trader University. Got a really cool bonus, actually bonuses, I should pluralize that, for the first 10 students to enroll. We sold that out this morning. We're going to do it one more time here in this evening call, so we've got that as well. I mentioned how to enroll. I'm going to talk a lot about the ROI, return on investment, because education is about ROI. This isn't something we're doing because it's, you know, it's fun and only fun. It is fun, and there's a lot of great stuff, and it's exciting trading, but ultimately this is about making money, and that's really the prime motivation. So we're going to talk about ROI. Answer any question you guys have if we don't answer it as we go along. And I really highly encourage you to stay around until the end. Like I said, I promise, I talk fast. We'll cover a lot of ground. It won't take forever, and it's going to be worth it because two things. I'm going to show you, one, how to get a full scholarship for this university, and two, I'm going to show you how you can get a free Kindle Fire HD preloaded with training. And really, it's going to be a type of thing at the very end where everybody will be eligible for a Kindle Fire HD, the brand new ones, not the old model. This is the new stuff, only the good stuff here at NetPicks. So it's going to be worth your while to stay around and stay with us through the presentation. The team, the yearbook pictures, you know, here's some of them, myself, Brian, there's TJ, some other of the team. As you can see, that support, the PTU, Ron does you know, an amazing job with our support, and Mike teaches options, and Will does a lot of our programming. So we have, you know, a collective group here. Everybody in the coaching team that we call them trades in the markets, really does this, and have all been former students, which is even cooler. So Will, TJ, Mike, Bob, Ron, all, even Brian, originally were course owners and then came on board NetPicks. So we really know pretty much everything there is to know about trading, succeeding, and really what it takes. NetPicks, just for those of you who don't know a lot about us, I think most of you do know a fair amount, but we've been around since 1996. We've been in this training and system development business probably about the longest in the industry, you know, bar maybe one or two that I can think of that I remember being out there back 17 years ago. So we've been through everything in the markets. I mean, as you can imagine, we've seen it all. You know, back then we were probably all on AOL using dial-up, but that's where we started. So this history of success, this experience is really what we've used to help us develop the Premier Trader University curriculum that we're going to be covering. Now, a lot of you know, maybe some of you haven't been trading long enough to know, but it used to be really, really, really easy to trade. In some ways, I would say you probably didn't even need NetPicks back in the day. You know, maybe when we first started out in '96, that was right at the crest of where things just went crazy and took off. And you didn't need that much on strategy because all you had to do was buy and hold, and everything worked. And if you were wrong today, held on, because tomorrow you're going to be a genius. Everybody was a genius. Everybody I knew was a genius. Everybody told me how amazing they were doing, people I worked with, my family, etc. And they almost didn't understand why I approached everything with systems and rules and trade plans. It made no sense because they're just like, why are you working so hard at this? Just buy, man, just buy. And they were right until they were wrong. And when you're wrong, I mean, it is crash and burn. And it's not just the profits you give back. Most people I know gave back all their profits and 80 to 90% of their equity. So things are totally different, as you know now. You know, buy and hold, as I think a lot of people will probably say, yes, that's true, doesn't really work. It hasn't worked in a decade. It's so difficult to just latch on to something and let it work out for you. So we have to be and approach things completely different. Part of the reason, obviously, the economic meltdown changed a lot of things for maybe you personally on your, you know, the economic side, maybe your job, maybe your real estate, maybe your investments, but it also changed the way the markets have traded. And it's made it even more important for us as traders to have much better skills when we approach these markets. It has gotten more complicated. I can tell you that approaches I may have had in the early 2000s or late 90s, you know, at this point, they won't even be effective because so much has changed over the years. And it does demand a lot higher level of expertise and a lot stronger trading systems in order to be profitable. So you got to keep that in mind. You know, trading no longer easy. You now need a real plan, exact rules, a proven system, and that's not enough. We're going to talk about this. You have to have education. It isn't good enough to give you a system and say, go for it. You won't get the results that you're after. Now, we know in our business, when I first started, you know, back in the mid-90s, it was just a few companies. They were good companies, and we all focused on systems and plans and specifics. And then I think a lot of people noticed, oh, that's an interesting industry. I'm going to get in there, and we're going to make it get rich quick. And we went through a number of years where sort of the trading business turned into that. There were television commercials, and you know, people were going to light this candle and, you know, make millions of dollars, and that's how it was going to be. And you know what? For a short while in time, that's what happened. Unfortunately, this kind of stayed on, this mentality that you could just, you know, trade a robot, trade a system, and get rich really got instilled. And all of us are probably guilty of pursuing it. I'm guilty of pursuing it. I've looked for the easy button, the holy grail, for many, many years. I mean, why not? If it's out there and somebody else discovered it, I'm going to buy it. Well, I can tell you, I have looked for it. I have bought everything. It is not out there. If it was out there, I would be using it. It just does not exist. But if you remember from that initial survey question, 17% even joining us today have proven it's not about get rich quick, it's not about the easy button, but you can succeed and be consistently profitable. Just avoid these people telling you that you can do it with a robot, a push button, playing golf, on the tennis court, or at the beach. It's going to take a little bit more effort than that. It's not going to take, you know, you killing yourself or a crazy lifestyle, but it is going to take a little bit of effort, and you want to, if you're going to put that work in, put the work in the right area, and that's what we want to talk to you about, obviously, today. So let's talk a little bit about how we're going to resolve this, how we really believe that the Premier Trader University is going to be the difference maker for you, and it's all about this. We're really wanting to create legions of what we're going to call lifestyle traders. TJ, you mentioned, you know, earlier a little bit with, you know, time zone and having to adjust to that a little bit. I mean, I'm going to ask you straight out, do you sit there and trade from 6 in the morning to 3 in the afternoon?
No, not at all. In fact, I'm usually finished right around when the kids are getting ready to go to school in the morning. So, you know, most of my day is trade related. I'm doing other things that are trade related. I'm always trying to learn. I'm always trying to improve. My actual screen time trading is, you know, maybe 2 to 2.5 hours at the most, day trading. And then my swing trading, I'm going to be looking at those charts at the end of each day, mostly.
Yeah, I mean, listen to what TJ said. He's done when his kids are about to go off to school. And that's kind of where you want to be. There is no reward for taking the most trades in a day. And I tell people this all the time. Typically, the people who have the most trades, spend the most time in the markets, make the least. It doesn't work the other way around. It might surprise you. The people who actually spend the least amount of time, do it the most efficiently, and walk away, make the most. You absolutely can balance lifestyle with trading by having great systems, great education, and balance. It absolutely does exist and can exist, whether you want an alternate source of full-time income, part-time income, financial emergency income, whatever your desires are. We have hundreds of people joining us here live tonight. You know, everybody's a little different what you need, but all of us can achieve being a lifestyle trader. There's just no excuse not to be that at all. You know, maybe later on, you know, I've talked, Brian's been on some calls with us before and talked a little bit about, you know, when he originally was trading Forex and pretty much killing himself because he would trade the Asian session, the European session, the U.S. session. It's completely not something you need to do. Doesn't mean it's necessarily easy to trade, but it doesn't have to be nearly as complicated as a lot of people think it needs to be. So to enroll in the university, that's why we call it a university, because we want you to think, most people understand what a college is, a university is. It's the same exact process. Okay, you have the prerequisites, which is step 1, which we'll talk about, the undergraduate education, and the major education. The best thing about this university, it's not going to take you 4 years. I know some of you maybe took 5 years. It won't take you 4 years, 5 years, or maybe you're still in, whatever the case may be. This can actually be done, this process, in 30 days or less. That's what's really cool about it. So if you're an impatient person, no problem. You're going to be able to get through all of the education in what's going to surprise you the amount of time it'll take. It won't take long at all. Step number one, we want to make sure everybody's on the same page. So as soon as you enroll here today, you can dive right into what we call the prerequisites portion of the training. We want to make sure that when we hold the live undergraduate class for you, that everybody's kind of on the same page. You may be very different experience levels, but you'll have the knowledge base that you need. So the entire coaching team put this together, not just me. It was Ron, it was Will, it was Mike, it was Brian, TJ, and we pretty much poured our heart and souls into this, what we've learned over the last 17 years, and you'll just kind of self-pace it. So that's what's nice about it. Take it in small bites, big bites, whatever's convenient for you, you go through it. And if you're highly experienced, you're going to move through it very quickly. There's going to be some parts of the material you're not going to need to spend really hardly any time on. If you have less experience or really want to cover things comprehensive, give it all the time, but it's not done in one sitting. Just kind of piece it up. We've had so many great testimonials just about the prerequisites. You want to do it. And we're going to cover a whole bunch of things, everything from choosing the best markets and style of trading. You mess that up and you probably, mess up your chance to succeed. Broker selection, charting selection, platform selection, all critical. Software and hardware requirements, internet requirements, technical analysis. We're going to throw away 98% of the junk that's out there. You don't need to buy 100 books from Amazon. I know a lot of your libraries are probably crazy. You're probably not using any of it. We're only going to focus on what works. We've been doing this for 17 years. I can tell you technical analysis is cool. It works, but most of it doesn't in the real world. So we're only going to focus on what you need to know about price and price action. We're going to talk about risk and money management and trade psychology. These are huge topics. Granted, there's courses that go on for a week on each one of these. We have a way of really boiling it down to what matters. It's not about the fluff, and it's not about giving you 1,000 pages, and it's not about talking to you for a week. It's about focusing on winning and losing when it comes to trading. And a lot of what you learn, it just doesn't apply to real life in the market. So we don't really deal with the hypotheticals. We're dealing with what you need to get over, let's say, the psychological hurdles, rather than, obviously making an in-depth psychological course. Insider advice, we really push, kind of doing trading as a business. That may not be a revolutionary concept, but you're going to be amazed if I told you some of the stories of most of the people that come to us who approach it more like entertainment, gambling, praying, wishing, hoping. It's not how we do it. We approach this like a profit and loss and a business, and that's how it's done. Now, the undergraduate is done. Once we're done with the prereqs, we're going to get right into the undergraduate. It's 2 days. It's live in the markets, but you don't have to come anywhere. You don't have to visit us. You don't have to travel. You're going to do it in the comfort of your home or office, just like this. A little different webinar where everybody kind of sees everybody else, meaning, in the text, and we kind of share all the information. The entire coaching team will come in. It's myself, it's TJ, it's Brian, it's Will, it's Ron, it's Mike, and we'll teach you everything you need to know about the strategies. Because once you have the prereqs, I know then you're excited. You want to get started. You want to get started with trading. Well, you need to learn and master the PTU trading strategies. They are very specific. They are all brand new. They are all proprietary. They've all been developed live in the markets and been performing live in the markets for quite some time now. Even better, the learning curve is amazingly fast on these strategies. There's not a single person listening here tonight that cannot get up to speed on these strategies quickly. I couldn't say that back in June because I wasn't sure. But now that we've done 3 classes, it's amazed me. It's sort of defied my expectations how quickly people have been able to master the PTU concepts. I think part of that is we've just been doing this so long, we just sort of know the hot buttons and how to teach and how to present things, and we make sure that our indicators, etc., are so crystal clear, which I'm going to show you in a moment. It just doesn't leave a lot to the imagination, which is a good thing. So we'll go over the strategies, trade management. We're going to teach you a whole bunch of things that we've learned over years of trading, tens of thousands of trades. We share it all with you. So we're going to shortcut most of your paths to success. Chart level, key levels. If that doesn't mean anything to you, don't worry about it. You'll learn about it. Choosing the right market. Everybody's a little different. Your account size is different. One size fits all does not work. All of you are not going to go out and start trading the S&P Mini or the Euro US dollar or Apple, depending upon where you want to be. There are many, many more answers and solutions in markets than sometimes the most obvious. And it may surprise you that the best money is sometimes not where you think it is. The easier trading is a lot of times not where the crowd is. We'll talk about simulation to live trading, and then of course help you really choose or incorporate both day trading and swing trading into what you do. And even better, you will grow with PTU. Once you get the concepts down on one market, you're going to have the concepts down on multiple markets, multiple time frames. This will grow with you. If your account starts at 5,000 and then it's 50,000 and then it's 500,000, the same systems and concepts will continue to apply. You don't have to reinvent the wheel and reinvent the wheel every time something changes in the markets or every time your account size changes. Now, the third step is moving into the major. So now you've gone through the prereq, you've gone through the undergrad, you should be trading live in the markets, and now we're going to start doing the specialized training. And this is focusing specifically on futures, Forex, or stock and options. And the reason we do this is because in the undergrad we talk about all of them. But you know what? It's different if you're trading futures or Forex. I mean, TJ, you know this. I mean, you were talking about this earlier. You know, not every futures market, right, behaves the same way.
No, it's true. Futures markets behave differently, and then, you know, you compare futures to Forex, and that's a huge difference. And, of course, with stocks and options, there's a gigantic difference there, and there's different rules. There's even different ways that it's handled, you know, with your tax returns, which is we never really even talk about that, but those are things you have to consider. But, you know, it's interesting how just on a couple different futures markets, just when you start trading can make all the difference.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great point. I mean, a lot of people don't realize this, that, you know, the markets may be open from, let's just speak New York time, like 9:30 to 4. Most of that is crap. It's garbage. I'm just going to be honest with you. There's really small moments in time where all the money is made. And TJ's exactly right. I can tell you, like this morning, I mean, I start one market literally at 7 o'clock my time. I start one at 8. I start one at 8:30. I start one at 9. I mean, I stagger it that way. It works great for me. And, you know, and same thing. I'm done, you know, in the first couple hours. But the reason I do that is because the best trading on one market is at 2 hours before another market. It's just the way that it works. And Forex is not any different. And stocks, of course, work a lot the same way as well. So these are things that we focus in on during the major. And probably the biggest thing that you'll get is the top secret trade plans. This is where we say, Russell E-mini, trade it from 10:03 to 11:30. Quit after one win. Use these settings. You know, trade after this time. Don't trade with this report. Super specific to that exact market because that fine-tunes everything. It's the same PTU system and strategy, which is cool, but then you want to have it personalized to your market because the Russell won't trade the same as silver futures, as the DAX futures, as the Euro US dollar. The indicators are the same. The rules on where to get in and get out are exactly the same. What's different is us turning the dials based upon how different markets behave. That's all been done for you. We have cracked the code. We have figured it out on when and where and how you should trade literally a lot of markets. I'll show you in a moment. So let's kind of go into that a little bit. Just some of the futures markets. You have more choices on the future side than you're ever going to need to trade, want to trade. That's important because, like I mentioned, you may just start with crude oil futures, and then you want to add the Russell, or maybe you want to add a metals or one of the agriculturals. That's great because as your account grows, you'll have that opportunity. But you know what? You don't have to add a lot of markets because all we have to do is scale position sizing, right, and make a lot more money. I go from one contract to two. If I'm a profitable trader, what have I just done? I've doubled my profits. Name another business in the world where you can double your profits by choosing a different number on your keyboard. I mean, I've owned physical businesses, trust me, right? It never has ever been that situation where I've ever had a way to double my business by moving my finger over half an inch on the keyboard. It's a huge advantage to trading. It works the same on Forex. The key is you have to get to the point where you're trading profitably. When you trade profitably, consistently, the sky is the limit. But until you get to that point, right, all this thing about scale and multiple markets kind of doesn't apply. But when you do, that's like the amazing moment. You're like, holy cow, I mean, I have a skill that I can double, triple, quadruple just by growing my account. In the end of the presentation here, I'm going to show you a pretty amazing example of just that with a market that makes $80 a day, right? $80 a day doesn't sound like a lot of money. It's going to blow your mind how much $80 a day can do to your bottom line, to the point it will get you to a full-time income. Stock traders, all kinds of great choices, ETFs, Priceline, Apple, Google. Mike, our options expert, focuses on about 10 to 15 stocks in particular that for years now have provided the best profitable opportunities. And we haven't done this before. This is the first new undergraduate class that we're now giving access to all 3 majors. When we originally rolled this out, the first 3 classes, we let you choose one major, and then we asked you if you wanted to do additional majors in the future, you would have to enroll and, of course, pay for enrollment. We decided, based upon feedback from the first 3 undergrad classes that were like, we really want exposure to all of it because I want to be in the right places. We decided to put it all together and open it up to everybody. So it's a huge benefit you guys are getting, and we also did that for all the existing classes as well. So don't feel you need to pick your major like you did in the past. You want a triple major eventually, you'll be able to triple major with PTU. The systems, of course, is a huge part of this, but I'm talking a lot about education and university because systems are not enough to be profitable. And you may wonder, well, why is that? It's just 17 years of experience. What I have found, kind of like maybe about a year ago, I realized, you know what? It's not just enough for us to provide a great system in a box. It just isn't. People still are not getting many times the results on the chart in their live account. There's really a disconnect that happens. And we realized, the missing piece, that missing element to the puzzle had to be, besides having killer strategies, the education and the training had to be just as good as the strategies. And why is that the case? There's probably not a better way for me to demonstrate this than to show you this slide. Okay, so the PTU system here that you can see in this column, the second column, this is if we traded these markets 100% mechanical. This is just based upon, over the summer, just a few of the plans that we have, how they did. Good results, totally mechanical, not using any of the things that we will teach you about trading. And you may ask, well, what are those? It's everything from things that we call get in sync, chart level adjustments, key level adjustments, working through and around news. There's just subtleties that you need to learn that only experience can bring you. When we go ahead and we add that to the exact same mechanical setups, look what ends up happening on the results. Same strategy, same markets, same effort, and we end up with a 32% to 83% bump in performance. That'll pay for a lot of commissions and slippage and everything else and still put a lot more in your pocket. And it'll get you to the point of adding position sizes so much quicker. The power of compounding takes over. This is huge. This is why education is so important. It's not just enough to have the system. You have to have the training. Makes a huge difference. I was a huge believer in this. We conveyed this in the first class back in June, but it's so exciting now to finally actually see the results. It's like, here it is, black and white. You guys can see the value of this education. Let's go ahead and take a look at the system because, of course, that's always important to see what you can trade. And, of course, I can't give you, all the training here today on this, but you're going to be pretty amazed by how much of this is going to be crystal clear on the chart. I'm going to start with futures, and then I'll show you some Forex, and then I'll show you some stock. And I'm going to really focus in basically on today. I'm not cherry picking. I'm not going to go back and try to find a great day 4 weeks ago. We're just going to cover today a little bit, and I'm going to start with this crude oil futures trade plan. And I call this a small account trade plan because we have a couple different crude oil plans. This is a great market to trade for those of you who want to day trade futures. But this plan in particular is really good for smaller accounts. So, the risk and everything else is more manageable, and it scales very nicely. So this morning, and in this case at 9 o'clock New York, on my, you can see my timestamps down below at 8. That's because I'm in Central Standard. But this plan starts at 9 o'clock New York time. We had a short. The short always plots on the screen. Let me get that out of the way. That's the exact short. Immediately, it's going to plot the target 1 and target 2, since this is a short. And the dots up above are the protective stop. I place the trade in the market. It only triggers if price moves and hits the entry point, which in this case was 92.83. Now look what happened on this trade. Initially, we didn't look like trading geniuses, did we, right? Because it was starting to head back up to the stop loss. And that's perfectly fine because this is not trying to trade like the Holy Grail. We don't have 100% winners. What we do have is we know exactly where to give up on this trade, and potentially we were ready to take a buy trade right here. So if the market moved up through that and clicked on the buy, so be it. We would have continued on to the next trade. But in this case, the stop was perfectly placed. That's a lot of the design of the plan. You'd be amazed how often this happens, and then the trade progressed down to target 1 and ultimately target 2. When you're trading it live, I'll kind of scroll this way. You don't get the benefit of seeing what's coming. It's going to feel like this, and you're going to have your stop in, and you're going to think probably at that moment, you know what, this trade probably isn't going to work out. It's okay to think that, but what I find happens when people don't have structure in their trading is they panic. The trade goes against them, the world's against them, they get paranoid, they hate this, it's just not fair, and what do they do right here? They exit the short and they buy. So what happens when you do that? This happens, right? And then you just made it doubly worse. With the PTU, that's not going to happen because you're going to know that the odds are in our favor, that there is a real reason why the stop is where it's at, and this target, and then ultimately this target is where it's at. $260 a contract. You can scale multiple contracts, done in 15 minutes, and we're done for the day. We use something called power of quitting. I know some of you know that. Most of the markets we trade, power of quitting 1. That means we're going to have you in and out of the markets as quickly as possible. Really, as fast as the markets will move for us is as quickly as we can get done for the day. Russell E-mini, this was a really interesting one today, and I'll sort of show you what happens here. First of all, a little bit after the 9:30 open, there was a really nice short trade. This thing was entered at 852.40, right? Went right down to target, and then I say here we didn't take it. Well, why would we not take it? Because one of the things that you're going to get and benefit from is our experience and our thousands of trades that have come before where we realized that this 9:30 to 10 period with this trade plan, it works, but it's not nearly as profitable as trades that come after 10 o'clock. So why spend the time and the effort and the stress in a time that's just not as productive? Instead, flip forward, and we start at 10:03, and we're ready to jump in. We do that because many times at 10 o'clock, there's news. Look how crazy this is during the news. Do you want to trade during this? Yeah, you know what? Sometimes you're going to find that news will come out, and it'll take off like a rocket ship. And then you know what you guys do? You're all guilty of this because I've done this too. The next time that news comes up, you buy it the second it takes off, and what happens? You get stopped out, right? Because it just does not consistently happen with news. We were able to, 7 minutes later, very calmly, coolly, collectively, right, place our buy trade at 852.60, get out, really it was a few minutes later, like 7 minutes later, at 853.80, and we book it in that case, $120 per contract, perfect for small account. We also have trade plan for larger accounts. I don't mean large like they're huge, but I'm saying if you have a little bit larger futures account, then you may go for this plan. In this case, these bars are 9 ticks rather than 4 ticks. So as you'd imagine, the targets are bigger. So yesterday when we had this buy trade at basically 850 and we got out at 852.60, it's $260. With an adjustment that you would make based upon what we teach you, it'd be $240 on that trade. So it's about double the size of what we saw on the smaller account plan. But that's all about being able to scale. Like I mentioned, does every trade work? Of course not. This morning we started with a buy at 853.60. Okay, and the trade went sideways, up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, and then it set up a short. The reason it set up a short, this indicator down below is called the sentiment indicator. When it's red, we expect the market to go down. When it's green, we expect the market to go up. In this case, the market was in a little bit of a trend at the time. It was hanging in there, hanging in there, hanging in there. Ultimately, it set up a short, and it confirmed with our sentiment indicator. And just so you know, this plus on the screen in advance, you will always be giving in advance the exact entry price on the short. This was not guessing. You didn't have to make the calculation yourself. You'll know the rules. You'll know exactly why this bar right here is the short setup bar. And then we just go ahead and we reverse in this case at 852.20. So we go from 853.60 to 852.20. It's a $140 loss. And now we're short 852.20 on down to 849.50. We pick up $270, over double what we get back on the first trade. So we're 1-1, right? 1-1, and we've got a really solid, strong day. Now, did we continue trading? The market went down from there. And I know you'll see, hey, well, what about that winning trade? Why didn't you guys take that? And why didn't you take that? I mean, these trades are hitting target because the odds tell us over thousands of trades you're wasting your time to trade through this period. We do have an afternoon plan as well that would have picked up one of these, but I'm telling you the best trading is always in the morning, and it's always in the first 90 minutes of this trade plan. Even if things work later on, over the course of many, many trades, it's not worth your effort or your time. If you have a much bigger account, there's markets like silver futures, which are incredible, but only for larger accounts. I mean, you don't want to be in this when you're first building up, but I like to show you this because I want you to know that this is there for you. This is almost $1,000 per contract on a pretty basic long trade here this morning from 8:25 out 15 minutes later at 8:40. This is a trade that I took today on this, and it's 875 per contract. You know, obviously you have a little commission and slip. Will every trade go like this for silver? Of course not. But the profit potential that you can see as your account grows is what should really be getting you excited. Those of you who are in Europe or Australia or Asia, this is the plan for you, or one of them, the DAX futures. Tons of volume, which is great, over 100,000 contracts today on a slow day. And this trades during European market hours. For those of you in the U.S., if you don't mind being a night owl, it can work. I mean, it's a great market to trade. You don't have to be trading at this time, but maybe it works for some of your schedules. This was this morning, about 3 o'clock in the morning, New York time, but it's perfect time in Europe and Australia. It was a nice short at 74.02, down to target, €250 per contract. Multiply that by however many contracts your account size can handle. Did it just go immediately to target? Are we somehow psychic and we short right at the moment it goes right down? Of course not. I mean, this thing was losing money, right, for the first part of the trade. The first 10 minutes, it looks like 15 minutes, it was up and down. But I never stopped out, right? Here's the stop up here. A lot of people panic in these situations, but you have structure on your screen. You have a roadmap. Just follow the roadmap on the screen. There's so many markets I can cover. Wheat is another great one. We had this really cool short this morning when we were doing the morning presentation that worked great. We had the buy the day before. I mean, a lot of people don't even think about a market like this. That's why I tell you sometimes it surprises you that markets like this are easier than trading the S&P Mini, where so much of the volume tends to go. So lots of opportunity. We jumped between energies, stock indices, agriculturals, metals. Let's go ahead and look at Forex. Right, this is the euro-yen. On day trading, I like the euro-US, but a lot of people maybe don't realize there's some great opportunities day trading the euro-yen, in particular in the U.S. market hours. That's where the best opportunity tends to be on this market. This was a short on the 19th, you know, just about a week ago, you know, 102.62 down to exact target. In this case, 24 pips. Same thing, initially our way, then against us, and then down to our target. Very, very consistent market, as you'll see as we go through each session. I know there's a lot of other trades, and some of these trades look incredible, but not all of them are. We're just trying to focus on those moments in time where the odds are the best for success. So here's a buy. Here's a target. Here's a stop. Did this buy trade work? No. Did we reverse to short? Yes. Did we get a full target? We barely missed. We ended up taking a partial profit on this and a partial loss on that trade. Came right back the same morning. Buy trade, full target. Good day overall. One full winner, one partial winner, one partial loss. A little more active than normal, but the setups are there. We take them if we need them. Power quitting one. Here's power quitting one when you don't need it. You're done. One trade short, down to target, done. I don't care what happens after. I know there's a good trade here. I don't care. I don't want to be at this for hours and hours on end. That's not why I'm doing this. All right, short trade here, partial target, right overall. And a nice buy trade today that was great, went to full target, and we're done. You know, it works exact same way on the euro US dollar. You know, this going back to the 14th, same situation, US session. In this case, trigger, target, done. Here's another one, right, on the 17th. Looks very similar, right? But notice the structure always. We don't take every setup. We focus in on the times of day that work the best. Now, a lot of people sometimes gravitate to day trading, and that's it. But the easier trading in Forex is actually going to be swing trading, something that TJ mentioned. You know, TJ, I don't know. I mean, where on Forex? I mean, I think you mentioned, right? You kind of like swing trading better between the two on Forex.
Absolutely, I do. I prefer to swing trade Forex. I have a lot of trades that are active right now, and that's the way I trade Forex. Definitely, very profitable.
Yeah, and what's funny about it is like you can add up a lot of pips when you day trade, but you're going to work pretty hard. These are trades on the pound Aussie that when you enter these trades and these hit target, these are pretty significant. These are 150 to 200 pip type moves each time. That's a lot of day trades, right? To add up to be, that winner, that winner, that winner, and that winner. And here we are doing nothing. We're not working at all. We're just waiting on a buy to potentially set up. It's placed in the market. I don't have to do anything. I check on it to see if it changes, but there's nothing to do at the moment. If the market's going to rally and trigger right here, or maybe later on when the sentiment turns back to red, we'll look at a short. I know they're all compressed together because I wanted to show you the whole summer in this case, but right now there's not going to be a short until the sentiment turns red. We're only focusing on the buy side, and that's really where you want to be. You want those odds to really be in your favor. You can even have fun with daily charts. I mean, these are huge moves, right, on the euro yen. 100.84 up to here. This is a 400 pip move. This one is probably even bigger. 106.72 down to 101.23. So over 500 pips on this one. Probably a small partial here, 50 pips. Another huge move that we just finished on a daily chart. Daily charts are not going to be the type of thing you're going to trade and only trade. It probably is going to be too boring. But I'm showing you day trading, I'm showing you swing trading, and I'm showing you very slower, big swing trades, right? So you can kind of go ahead and sort of have a nice mix between all of that. You don't have to just trade one way or the other. The euro US dollar, same thing. We just had a really nice one on the daily chart. Started back August 22nd, hit target on September 14th. You didn't have to do hardly anything but get on the trade and place your target and your stop. And that's it. Now, I realize that for a lot of you, that's not going to be enough frequency. So that's why we have, like I mentioned, these 4-hour plans, right? You get these type of things. I mean, look at the consistency. If I brought up a performance report here, well, one, that's a great looking equity curve, as you can tell. But, even breaking it down on a monthly basis, super consistent, right? I mean, this is based upon one standard pair, 290 pips, 150, 280, 212. I mean, just very consistent. Does every trade work? Of course not. Even here where we're rattling off winners, not everyone can work. This one doesn't. This one breaks even. This one's a partial. But again, you've got structure on the chart. That, for a lot of you, is going to be really a game changer. So, Euro Aussie, Euro US, Euro Yen, Pound Aussie, Aussie US, so much opportunity. How about stocks? Apple Computer is one of the great ones. It's been great to trade for years. You don't have to buy a $600 stock. You can trade an option. We have done so well trading this stock with options, and your returns on options when you're right in direction, it tends to be 50% to 150% or more of your options premium. So let's think about this since July. Winner on the short, winner on the buy, winner on the buy, winner on the buy, winner on the buy. Target one, out at break even. Loss here. This is the first time, and this was ahead of the big Apple iPhone announcement. I don't know if it was the smartest thing, right, to be short ahead of that, but you know what? The trade almost worked, and we reversed to a buy and went right back up to a winner, and we just triggered today. We're now short, and you could be owning a put option at this point. You don't have to sell the stock short. Each one of these trades here, you catch these, 50 to 150% of the options premium. I'm really amazing. This one, of course not. This one you end up losing. But would you take that trade in, that loss for all of these? I would. I would throw in a few extra losses if you told me I can get a sequence like this again. Be more than happy to have this trade right here lose if I can have, one or two of these to follow thereafter. So much opportunity with this, as you can see. I wanted to kind of continue on some of the results that we've been seeing since the first undergrad class. Russell E-mini, crude oil futures, DAX futures. I mean, this is a lot of money based upon a contract. And it's just approached trade by trade. We don't look to get rich quick on a given day. We're not looking to get rich on a given trade. If a trade loses, we don't care. The whole idea is not to look at it on a one trade by one trade basis. It's how do all the trades add up? Well, I know that since June 1st, all the trades add up to this 13,100. Losing days, losing trades, winning trades, big winning streaks, probably some losing streaks. Ultimately, the bottom line gets us where all of us want to be, right, which is consistently profitable. You guys can see the pips on the swing trading, the day trading, and we've just talked about the performance on Apple. Now, small accounts, I know not everybody starts with 10,000, 20,000, 30,000. The cool thing about Forex and futures in particular and options is you can start with smaller accounts. Okay, you can definitely start with $5,000 in a futures account, $2,000, $3,000 in a Forex account, $5,000 trading options. And I know the brokers that'll let you start for a lot less. I'm giving you our suggestions. I mean, yes, you can start for less, but you put yourself at a little bit of a disadvantage. I can't tell you not to do it, but we definitely know that there's a lot of good choices when your account's smaller. Can you trade every market with a smaller account? No. You're probably not going to want to trade, the DAX futures with a very small account. You may not want to trade the crude oil plan that we have that goes for $500 per contract, but you can trade the one that goes for $200 per contract. So you've got great choices, so you shouldn't let this be an issue. And like I mentioned, I'm going to show you something at the end that shows you what a small account can grow into over time with just consistency. So you don't have to start with a lot of money. Again, most businesses, you got to start with a lot of capital. In trading, that's just not the case. We've received tons of testimonials, just a few. Obviously, it's a lot of words on the screen, but MR said, "I've gotten my life back." For me, that's the biggest thing. Everything's been filtered down, very structured. Paul says, first-class product, best package you offered. I have a good deal of trading experience, and I learned a lot, even from the pre-req. So like I mentioned, I know some of you are very experienced. You will get a lot, even out of the basics with PTU. Frank says, very complete. Support is very helpful. I believe we have the best support in the business. Mike W. Talking about his Apple trade with $1,000 profit. Remember, I mentioned that on a contract. Really phenomenal overall. I mean, we've seen this repeated over and over again through the summer and here into the fall on multiple different equities and stocks. So lots of great opportunity there. Maurice talking about fantastic, thoroughly put together, and super informative. Looking forward to working with PTU and NetPicks for a long time, and this is somebody who actually lost their job. So, great opportunity and perfect timing, I hope, for somebody like Maurice. All right, so let's talk about how it's going to work when you enroll. So when you enroll today, you're going to start with the prerequisites. It's perfect because it's self-paced. You don't have to do it at our schedule. You do it at your schedule, when you're available, when you're free, when you have some time to do it. That gives you a few weeks until we start the undergraduate class on October 23rd. So the whole idea is not to rush you. We didn't want to start the class in 2 weeks or a week where you feel you're under the gun. Take your time on the prereqs, and then we'll go ahead in October and do the 2-day undergrad class. When we're done with that, you're going to have everything. You're going to have the trading strategies. You're going to have the indicators, the systems, the training. And then you can immediately start to go through the major program. In the past, we kind of made you wait a little bit because we were sort of having to do one at a time, and it took almost another month to get through each one. The cool thing is, the day after the undergrad ends, if you want to jump into the futures major and get all the trade plans for futures that day, they're all available to you now in our Owners Club. Again, that's a brand new thing for us. So we really get to move you through the entire education. Like I said, 30 days or less. That's the whole key here. We throw in a lot of extras with the training as well. I'm going to give you 2 private one-on-one coaching sessions. I suggest you do 1 hour after the undergrad and 1 hour after the major, and you can talk to TJ or Brian or Ron or Will. We try to kind of put you with somebody who has the same style, the same markets that you want to trade. We do monthly Q&A calls on each major, so we do a Forex call, a futures call, a stock and options call. We'll go over latest trade plans. I mean, I release trade plans on a frequent basis. I just released a brand new one this week. So this is ever evolving. This is a very dynamic education for you. Lifetime customer and tech support, lifetime access to the Owners Club, by the way, just so you know, you have lifetime access to that. There's no charge for that. And we've got some really great offers from partners such as TradeStation, NinjaTrader, and AMP Futures, down to the point I'm going to show you in a moment. TradeStation will pay for your education. We're going to, with the deal we put together with NinjaTrader and AMP, it's basically going to do the same thing because you're going to get some crazy good commissions as well as data for free and exchange fees for free. So a really awesome combination that we'll talk about here in a little bit more detail. So the scholarship from TradeStation, if you decide to go with TradeStation as your platform, even if you're already on TradeStation, we'll talk about how you can get this offer. They will reimburse you 100% of your tuition on the Premier Trader University by rebating back your commissions. You're going to be trading anyway. Why not let them then also pay for your tuition and offset the cost as you trade? So as you trade and you're making money, they're paying off the tuition. Really a great opportunity, and you know what? Why not? Because the TradeStation platform is excellent. It does everything that I've shown you, and they even throw in an extra here, an extra 6 months free on the platform, or another $500 just for good measure in commission rebates. If you want to use NinjaTrader, that's great as well. Some of you prefer that. It may be the country you're in or where your brokerage is. The deal we set up with AMP literally gives you round turns for a little bit over $3.50. I don't even pay that. I mean, I trade with Interactive Brokers, and I'm about $5 a round turn. So $1.50 savings, it's a lot. We do a lot of frequency trading, so that amount will add up amazingly quick. We told both TradeStation, AMP, Ninja, we don't want any money, any compensation. We want the very best package they can give PTU students, and that's what you guys got. You literally have wholesale commissions, and in this case on NinjaTrader and AMP, and in the case on TradeStation, you've got your tuition. It's going to be paid for over time. Now, we mentioned a couple bonuses. One of the first great bonuses is if you enroll during the call here today, this 10 went pretty quickly earlier, you'll be invited to an invitation-only small group private mastermind. It's hosted by Brian, by TJ, myself, etc. We really, in this case, have a chance to kind of work with you much more small group and can make a huge difference. If you guys have ever been involved in your professional life in other masterminds, you know what a difference it can make being surrounded by other people who are successfully doing something, in this case trading. It can be the difference maker. So if you enroll in that, we can't let people buy into this. We get asked this all the time in the first 3 classes. You know, well, just tell me what I do to enroll. I'll pay for it. It's not available to be bought into. You can't purchase it. It's a closed group, and it goes to the first 10 people here tonight who go ahead and enroll. Now, how much does it all cost, right? I'm sure for a lot of you, this looks awesome. You've got trading systems, indicators, training, an entire support team, amazing results, but it's going to come, right? It's got to cost something. And you know that most of the trading universities out there, some of you are very familiar with them because you've gone through them. It's not cheap, right? $10,000 is about the average. If it's not, and they start at $3,000 or $4,000, all you get is maybe just Forex or just day trading. And then as you start to add on Forex and day trading and swing trading, and then they say, oh, we have a level 1, a level 2, and a level 3, they just parcel out to you bits and pieces. Nothing is parceled out to you. This is all inclusive with PTU. You get everything. So if we were to put dollar values on what you get with Premier Trader University, this is the price tags that we came up with. This is not going to be what you're going to pay, so don't worry, but the value is there. We looked at the home study course. We said $697. The undergrad, 2 days, everybody out there charges about $1,000 a day. So we said $1,997. All market majors, what we were charging individually for them before, all the trade plans, and it's literally a dozen plus trade plans in each major, $39.97. That probably understates it. Access to all the active trader strategies that we've shown you so far, and we have some surprises to come. TJ is about to release a brand new approach. It's going only to people involved in the university, and it's included. It's not an add-on. It's not an extra like most of the other schools love to do. The Owners Club, it's lifetime. That's probably understated the price. Most people have monthly charges. No monthly charges. Live in the market trading twice a week. We do live in the market. You guys get to come to that. The group calls, the Q&A sessions, the great technical support, the TradeStation offer, the ability to actually have this all paid for anyway by TradeStation, or just work it off with trades with Ninja and AMP. I mean, literally, you will pay for it over time just with the savings there alone. Value altogether, $18,076, and it's kind of cheap. I mean, what university, that probably, at most universities, sometimes covers a semester, right? If you're lucky, a year. Okay, this covers everything, and it covers everything for life. It's a heck of a value. So what if I told you that you can go ahead and get this entire system, all the education, everything, and actually start for just $397 for the first month, and then just pay with your profits. Pay as you learn, pay as you earn, and it's just $297 per month thereafter. And you get everything. Nothing's being held back. I'm not metering things out to you. You get the prereq, the undergrad, the indicators, the strategy, the systems, the trade plans, all the support, all the coaching, everything. $397 to start, $297 per month. Because I know some of you are kind of ready, but you're not 100% sure. Well, I also know that I've got people here who are 100% ready because we have people that were ready to sign up over the prior days. I've got a really awesome deal for you as well. $39.97, all in, one time, and you're done for life. You don't have any additional, no monthlies, no licenses, nothing. If you already own one of our day trading courses like the SST or HVMM, we'll drop $1,000 off of that and make it $29.97. That's our family discount. We always like to pass along something if we can for your loyalty. If you own one of our swing trading courses like UST or Keltner Bells or One Day Swing Trade, we'll take $500 off, basically reimbursing you what you paid for that course, knocking it down to $34.97. And again, it's all inclusive, and the advantage here is you own it for life, no additional. If it's easier to break that down as payments, you can see here on the screen you got some payments. So we've got the upfront payment and then 3 easy payments after that. If that's easier for you than the one-time full, that's great as well. One thing I want to do to reward you, if you do the pay in just one payment, I'm also going to give the first 10 who do that a brand new Kindle Fire HD, and it's not just in the box, it's actually been loaded with the entire prerequisite class. So you can sit there in front of the TV, at the home, the office, in the bedroom, wherever you want to be, and you can go through the training and have it all streamed right on the Kindle Fire. And then you get all the benefits of the Kindle as well, as you guys know, the great display, the Wi-Fi, the Android, all kinds of great stuff, and that's going to be shipped to you immediately if you go ahead and do the one payment. So I know there's some different options that we've made available to you. I want to give you the enrollment link and then go ahead and start to answer questions. You need to be one of the first 10. Get the mastermind. And if you're ready to go and you're in this, and I know a lot of you are, do the prepay and get the Kindle Fire. Why not? It's free and it's got the prereq training already built into it, which is probably going to make it super convenient for you to go through that in a good pace and in a comfortable environment overall. So go ahead and netpicks.com. You do need to type that link in /enroll. The screen will come up. You'll see a few different choices. It might take a moment. If you're a NetPicks course owner, prior course owner, you're going to see down at the bottom 2 choices. If you're a day trading course owner or if you're a swing trading course owner, those are going to be the paths you're going to want to take. If you're brand new, on the right-hand side, that's going to give you the prepay or the payment plan. And in the top left, if you want to go ahead and take advantage of the initial offer I showed you, let me show you that again as we scroll up here. Oops. And you want to do this and just start for $397 because you're not quite sure yet, and you want to have $18,000 in systems and education to get started immediately, take this option. $397, then just $297 per month. I mean, how many trade plans have I shown you that blow that away sometimes in just one day, right? Pay as you go, earn as you learn, and just pay for it out of your profits. I mean, that's a great way to go as well. I know some of you, that's the way you're going to want to go. Others of you just want it done, and then I'm going to give you, of course, the nice extra bonuses overall. And we'll just kind of scroll down here again. All right, so a couple other things I wanted to show you. If you would have started, I know some of you have kind of joined us in June and July, just kind of haven't been quite ready yet. In a way, you missed out, right? Because you just weren't quite ready yet. But that's fine. We didn't put a gun to anybody's head. We told people, hey, do it when you're ready. But the awesome thing about class number 1 and even class number 2 now is the ability to have PTU paid for, and not just once, but now working into multiple times in a short amount of time. That is what our goal and our objective is going forward for all of you. We want to replicate this and duplicate this. As you can see, anywhere from 1.3 to 3.3 times over. So there's no reason to delay, right? 87%, what was it, 83% of you are not currently profitable. I gave you an opportunity to have an $18,000 university training for $397. You just can't pass it up. It is such a great opportunity overall. I need to show you this on the spreadsheet. I want to do that in a minute. I'm going to come back to this. I want to show you what I talked about, how you can take $82 a day and turn that into a full-time income. We've already kind of covered this a little bit. We blow away every university out there. Everybody else breaks it down into a gazillion pieces. They charge you for everything, level 1, level 2, level 3, day trading, swing trading. There's nothing you can think of that we're not including with PTU. It is all in and all-inclusive. All right, so Troy, you probably have some things you want to add to that, and then I'll let you kind of say a couple things. I'll jump over to the spreadsheet. I got to show them that, and then we'll answer questions.
Yeah, okay, great. Excellent presentation, Mark. Really excited to start a new round of PTU. I meet so many great traders, and one of the things that I encounter over and over again when I'm talking to traders is how little traders put into the investment into their own knowledge. They venture out into the market and they take these risks, but they are not really sure what they're doing. And I kind of like the analogy of the pilot. Do you really want to fly with somebody who hasn't taken the time to learn their instruments, put in their flight simulation hours, and actually know how to fly? You want to just hop in the plane with somebody and risk crashing and burning? Because if you think about it, that's what you're doing when you're trading, when you're not up to speed, when you don't understand really the risk, when you don't have a plan, when you don't have the training that you need to venture in to the markets. The markets are very dangerous. We all have seen, our surveys show, we saw it earlier today with how people answered the initial questions, that most traders are not succeeding. Well, what I'm finding is that most traders are not investing enough in their own education and getting themselves trained to be able to succeed in the markets. And the PTU is designed to give you the legs you need and the firm foundation and everything that you can build on top of that to succeed, just like any other business, really. Mark, I see you got the spreadsheet up.
Yeah, well, you were mentioning exactly that. I mean, this is a business. This is a business that we're designing for you to be successful. And I wanted to kind of show you what you can do if you do exactly what TJ said. You put the time in, make the effort, and kind of learn what you need to learn. This spreadsheet, some of you have seen this before. I put in one of the small account crude plan over the summer, averaged $82 per contract per day, right? Winners and losers, right? I'm not just putting in the best possible outcome, which is all winners, okay? I'm saying everything in, all together, accounting for commission and slip. $82 a day, right? So this is not trying to show you numbers that are crazy. I think everybody can believe that that is very achievable and very doable. There are other numbers here, of course. I'm saying that I'm willing to risk up to 2.5% per trade, and we can change that. We can do a little bit more, a little bit less, and of course you don't want to do too much more. The average or the maximum trade, risk, I got to know what that number is. You'll always know what that is ahead of time. And I know there are some other numbers here that may not be completely clear, but one of the key ones is I want to know that I want to get to the point where I've decided, let's say in this example, that I need $10,000 a month. That's going to be what I want for my full-time income, and I want to work up to that. But I don't want to just initially start taking money out of my account. I want to let my account grow and start to trade more than one contract so I can start to compound. So look what happens in January here. We have some expenses, and actually really the data subscriptions these days can go away. We used to have expenses on charting and brokerage, but most of that's waived these days. But I've got a little internet, a little data, and some supplies. So in the first month, we trade one contract and we make $1,640. My account started, let's say, at $7,500. I'm up to $8,965. And this starts to calculate this 2.5% risk and knowing when we can go ahead and bump contracts. So about halfway through the year, I can go ahead and bump to a second contract. It doesn't work. I don't work any harder. I just go ahead and bump contracts. But look what's happened. My account started at $7,500. It's already at $19,395, just making $80 a day, right? That's over doubled. And now this is where things start to take off, because what happens when you can add a second contract? Much quicker, you can get to a third contract. And based upon the numbers we put in here, we've gotten to the point where we've started to take a monthly income. You got to start small initially, 1,000, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. But look what's happening, how quickly we get up to a fourth contract, right? We're at the beginning of just the second year. We're up to a fourth contract. We're taking out $3,000 a month, and the account has grown to $36,000 from $7,500 with $82 a day. Small account, 5 contracts, 6 contracts, 7 contracts, 8 contracts, and I'm already at the point in the second year where I'm at that full-time income. Did I have to start big? Did I have to start with $100,000? No. Did I make $10,000 a month on month number 1? No. Right? But if you approach this smartly and professionally and as a business, it's incredible what you can do. After the series, as we move through it, the end results here, As you can see, after the, this is after the end of year 4. Overall, we've got expenses, pretty small, but they add up over time. But look where your account is, $277,000. Over that time, you've taken out $440,000 into your pocket, and your overall, profits were $709,460. This was the person who started with $82 a day with a modest 2.5% risk. Yeah, we can go to 2%, and it might take a little bit longer, right, for me to go to the second contract. It was a little bit later in the year, but we were still able to get up to $10,000 and up. If I start with more money, yeah, it could go a little quicker. If this average comes up a little bit, sure, it can move faster. But the whole idea is not just to trade for this week, this month. The whole idea is this is a skill that you're going to have and be able to master for life. It's going to make a huge difference. So here I am showing you numbers that probably would make all of you, especially those of you who have not been consistently profitable, nothing but excited, and we're showing it to you all based upon $80 a day, right? $82 a day. I just don't think there's any reason that any of you should not take advantage of the program. I think we've given it to you in multiples of different ways. I don't know, great overall package. You probably can't get any better. Let's look at some questions. Brian, do you want to jump on the mic? Is there anything that you need to answer as you've kind of gone through these?
Yeah, there's a number of questions here, Mark, and before I get to those, I would like to do a special shout-out to a couple of new members that have joined us. First of all, Joan B., welcome to you, and taking advantage of the Kindle Fire offer that we have. So it's great to have you on board. And also Richard A., same thing, welcome to you, also taking advantage of that Kindle Fire. Just to let you know, Mark, we have 8 of those spots taken up. So we have 2 Kindles left at this point. If you're interested in that specific promotion, we have just 2 of those left. So here are a few questions, Mark, that need to be answered. The first one, Colin P. is asking this question, and it was also asked by a few other people, but they're asking if they go on the month-to-month, does that get applied to a full purchase down the road, or how does that work? Can you kind of explain that?
Sure. Basically, the way that works is you'll still get the family discount if you want to do the prepaid. We don't apply it. As you can imagine, it's such a crazy good deal to get everything for that rate. So that's why I say if you're in this, and you know this is where you want to be, do the prepay. I mean, it's really a straightforward decision. If you're not 100% sure, you're hedging a little bit, don't let that be a reason not to get started today. You've got $397 and you're in, and you're going to have exposure to everything PTU, and then just go ahead and pad your profits. If you want to do that a month or two, and then you're ready to jump into the lifetime, we will still pass along the savings on the family discount. We just can't, unfortunately, apply that because it's only fair for the people who went ahead and did the prepaid up front.
Okay, Mark, and another question that we get pretty common is on the TradeStation reimbursement, the tuition reimbursement. A few things you need to understand there is it does need to be a brand new TradeStation account, and once you've signed up and funded that account, the way it works is when you begin live trading, then on each commission that trade you take live, you'll start to get a portion of that commission back up to the full amount of the cost of the course, the PTU course. So it's a great way to get that reimbursed back to you as you start to trade live in the market. So again, there's some of the keys there for that particular promotion.
So I see here from Mona, appreciate the comments. I'm not sure I went ahead and kind of put that out there. She was talking about she's a current PTU, was done in less than an hour this morning, and went for a 2-mile walk on the beach, got my life back. The real key there is got my life back, right? Thank you for the compliment, an amazing program. It's literally changed my life. I mean, that's kind of what we want to hear. I mean, yes, this is about making money, and yes, it's about being successful, and yes, it's all those things. That's important. But it shouldn't be at the expense of your lifestyle and your ability to do your other professions, your family, whatever it is that you want to do. I mean, that is equally as important because you won't last in trading if you don't have that balance. I mean, that's why we focus in on that. I mean, there's only no other reason that we focus on that other than it's just something I think we all learned probably the hard way. that you have to have that. So Mona, thanks for sharing that as well. Timothy, can you briefly touch on the options aspect of the system? So Timothy, the way that that works is the cool thing, like I mentioned with PTU, is you own, learn, master the PTU strategies, and the same strategy applies in Forex as it does in stocks. What is different is teaching you how to buy the right options for that setup, the right calls, the right puts, anything beyond that, any of the exotics, and taking you through that. Also making you focus on the best stocks and ETFs. There's thousands of choices out there, right? You don't need to waste your time with about 99.8 out of 100 of them. All the money can be made in just a small hot list. And Mike, one of our coaches, is an expert in options trading, been doing it for many years, very successful, and he's the one that really helps us in the major portion of the training. So we'll start in the undergrad with some stock and some training there, but it really comes together when you go through the major, which you'll be able to do right after the undergrad. Okay, let me see what else we have here.
Hey, Mark, I'm going to interrupt here a second. Again, I want to shout out to Thomas S. Just picked up our 9th Kindle, so there's one left.
Oh, cool. Awesome. I thought you were going to save that for me. What's going on here?
Nope. Actually, TJ was kind of groveling for it on the pre-call, so.
It's not looking good for you, TJ. Like I told you, if we didn't go through all 10, you can have it, but it's not looking good. Let me see what else we have here. Yeah, so calling on the swing trade, so you can, I think Brian answered that, but you can go ahead and get the $500 off on that if you do the prepay. So I think he kind of answered that for you. Yeah, Brett, on your question, I totally understand where you're coming from. If you're not at the position where you're 100% ready and committed, that's the whole idea behind the monthly license. I can understand if you're in a situation you're not ready to go for the full boat. That's the whole idea. I mean, that's your risk, I guess you could say, the $397. For us, this is a NetPicks. We've got, all the people we have on staff. It doesn't make a big difference, Brett, whether you do the $397 or not to us. Where it makes a difference is if you stay on with us long term. If you go ahead and you upgrade to the full lifetime. So that's what we would like you to do. But in order for you to have the confidence, and I totally understand where you're coming from, my suggestion would be to go about it that way. As far as risk per trade, you asked a great question there. It depends upon the plan. I can tell you that in the smaller account plans, it's probably anywhere from about $100, $120 to about $200 on a contract. When you get to some of the little larger trade plans, it may be about $300 to $500 initially on the full risk. And what happens a lot of times is we have partial losses. We don't always lose max loss, but we want to give our trades enough room to work out. Too many systems are out there where they give very little on the stop loss. And yeah, it looks good because you don't lose a lot when you lose, but you lose over and over and over and over again. It's very difficult for people psychologically to handle that. I showed you quite a few trades, actually, that didn't immediately go our way. Here in September, the markets have not trended that great intraday. There has not been great volatility, so it's really not a surprise that a lot of the trades that I showed you initially bounced around a little bit until, ideally, ultimately, they get where they need to go. As far as drawdowns, of course, it depends upon number of losses you may have in a row. For the most part, we have what we call circuit breakers. Most of the trade plans we stop after 2 losses, sometimes 3 in a given day, because what I found is there are just some days that they're just not going to give you anything. You could try to trade it 100 different ways. It's not going to be profitable. So rather than bang your head against the wall, we use one of our circuit breakers and just say, you know what? The day is lost. We're going to move on. Tomorrow is a new day. And it's amazing how often, I mean, TJ, you say this all the time. I think you do anyway. I think I've heard it from you that, the best trades tend to follow some of the losses. I think you say that, do you?
Yeah, well, it's true. I mean, that's how markets behave. And keep in mind that $82 per day net that you showed on that spreadsheet is wrapping up those circuit breaker days. I mean, that's what keeps that $82 day, just as an example, for the sake of that example, that's what keeps that going. I mean, you talk about a business ramping up. that's how you do it. I mean, if you kind of imagine what you showed on that spreadsheet, how you have to trade for a certain amount of time, and then all of a sudden you find that you're able to take money out of your account. You've grown your account, and then that ramp gets steeper and steeper and steeper. Well, in order to achieve that, you have to stay with really tight rules, and sometimes markets are just, the best trade decision is the decision to stop trading or not to trade.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times that's true. I mean, that's a great point. It's interesting because I find even on a week-to-week basis, it's amazing how often it's almost compartmentalized. Like certain weeks are just great. I mean, it seems like Monday to Friday, everything just flows a certain way, and then you do the next week, and it's just not quite as easy, right? You're just not quite getting the same follow-through. But that's sort of the way it goes. I mean, that's the way trading is. I wish I could tell everybody that you can, guaranteed you'll make $2,500 per week, per market, per contract. I mean, it's not going to work that way because one week it'll be $200, and one week it'll be $3,700, and one week it might be minus $100. It's just kind of the nature of it. It's just you have to kind of, let that long series of trades play themselves out. Leo's saying, how expensive is the software? Well, you get all the indicators that I showed you for NinjaTrader and TradeStation. That's the trade calculator that does all the calculations for you, which is really cool. So even though we'll teach you how the system works, why exactly it buys where it does, how it projects out the target and stops, you'll have software that'll calculate all that for you in advance, so you can just place the trades and manage those trades. The platforms themselves, the cool thing is like on TradeStation, can be free. If you fund an account there, not only will they reimburse you the tuition, they'll also provide the platform at no charge. In the case of NinjaTrader, you can get the data for free, like we mentioned, through AMP, and exchange fees, U.S. exchange fees waived, which is really cool, so you don't have those extra little expenses gnawing at you. And in the case of the actual platform itself, Ninja does have some costs. There is a free version. The paid version is better, but use the commission savings to go ahead and pay for that, and then it's, once you're done, you're done. You own that for life, so you don't have to do anything with them, monthly either. How much is the family discount when you convert from month to month to single pay? We'll still pass along the same $500 or the same $1,000 savings, but it's going to be at that original amount, just so you know. So, like I mentioned, if you're ready to go and you just don't want to be bothered with the month-to-month, you're not going to really benefit from doing the month-to-month if you're just going to go ahead a month or two later and do the full pay. You should just do the full pay, get it out of the way, get it done, and then you've got everything for life. Yeah, the indicators shown, yeah, we have what we call workspaces and TradeStation. So you'll go ahead and you'll download those. You'll install the indicators. You can then bring up the opening templates, basically, and that'll bring up like a handful of markets that we cover in the undergrad. But we also show you how to build your own because, you don't want to totally rely on us. We show you exactly how to take any trade plan we have and create the chart, apply the indicators. But yes, Dennis, absolutely we use templates because there's no reason to spend all the time to put each indicator on where you can just put them all on one time, save the template, and you're good to go. And you can do the same thing in NinjaTrader. Thank you, Timothy. Okay, let me just keep going here. A success rate of the trading system, again, it's really difficult to say on any one plan. I will tell you in general, a general net picks rule has always been 2/3, 1/3. Psychologically, we find that works best for people. There's times that win rates can get over 80%. There's times that they're not going to be. They're going to be, closer to the 60 percentile rate. And there's going to be pockets of time where it's 100%, right? I mean, it's just kind of the nature of things. But every single trade plan is designed so it definitely has winning trades more often than losing trades. In addition, I like to see the average winning trade to be higher than the average losing trade. Those are kind of the two key things that we look to put together. Okay, let me see what else we've got here question-wise. Yeah, Brett, you can backtest, meaning what you can do is we kind of call it a working backtest. Backtesting where you hit a button doesn't benefit you at all, okay? Backtesting, when you go ahead and walk through trades and follow the trade plans, can benefit you a lot. And sometimes people, even question, well, why would I do simulated trading? Because if I do sim trading, it's not the same as real money. And you're right, it's not. But my point is always, if you can't make money sim trading, you're definitely not going to make money with real money, right? I mean, it's just not going to be possible. So a good way to do it is initially learn the strategies, do some back testing on your own so you can get comfortable. You just kind of click, click, click. You let the bars kind of go, and you say, okay, what would I have done right here? Once you feel like, oh, I got this down, you then move on to some simulated trading. And if your simulating trading is positive and profitable and you're not making a lot of bad judgment calls or mistakes, which as long as you follow the plans, you shouldn't be, but you'd be amazed, right? It happens. Then you can graduate onto live money. That's typically the best process for everybody to follow. No repainting, Colin, you're talking about that? No, there's no repainting. A system entry is an entry. It doesn't disappear. I know what you're talking about. Years ago, I bought the Holy Grail, and it looked like the Holy Grail until I started trading it and realized, oh, all the losing trades disappear. Yeah, it doesn't happen. Our losing trades, I wish they did disappear, but they do stay on the chart. I have tried to get them to disappear, but unfortunately they won't because they're still in my account. So, that's half joking, but it's a great question. A setup is a setup. It never disappears, never goes away, win or lose. Roger, great, thanks. Look forward to you, joining in a future class. Appreciate you joining with us here. Do the buy-sell signals shown on the charts appear prior to end? Yes, you always, I did annotate some of the charts, that's true, to put some notes on, but every chart will always have an entry, a target, and a stop before the trade triggers. So you can always, in advance, place that trade. There's always plenty of time. I mean, day trading does move quickly, but I can't remember the last time I couldn't get a trade in. I mean, there's time to take the trade. We know in advance a trade's about to set up. We know exactly what the target and stop is going to be, which is cool if you use like TradeStation's ladder or NinjaTrader's ladder. You can actually program in advance for it to immediately place your limit and your stop order based upon the range bars. Because we don't use time intervals, you're always going to know, because we use range bars, the exact target and stop. That's one thing that's really cool about it. If you guys haven't used range bars before, you're really going to enjoy it. The whole thing of using time intervals and watching the market take off while you wait for your 5-minute bar to finish, not going to happen with PTU. Let me see what else. JP, in your case, I don't have NinjaTrader charting running on this. I actually use personally NinjaTrader every day, but I use their dynamic order entry is what I use. So I know Ron uses NinjaTrader charting. It's very good. It's going to look, I guess, I don't know, Brian, the best way to describe it, it looks the same, but it looks like Ninja. I'm not sure how to describe it really.
Yeah, the indicators operate exactly the same, and Ninja's charting is just a little bit different. I think they have a white background by default, and but other than that, it's going to be exactly the same as what you saw tonight on Mark's chart with TradeStation.
Jack says, do I have to use your services after the course, or are these indicators for life? No, Jack, I mean, if you do the prepaid, you own it for life. The monthly license, yes. I mean, the monthly license will turn off if you stop the monthly license, as you would imagine. That's only fair. But if you do the prepay or the payment plan, and you complete that, you will have ownership for life. There's no other obligations. You don't have to send us any additional money. You can if you want, but there's definitely no further obligation beyond that. The spreadsheet is available. I think that's a capital plan from Douglas. Shoot us an email. I'll put the email address up here and request that. Be more than happy to send that out to you. Let's see what else we got here. Colin, no problem. Totally understand. We try to make it a killer deal, hence the monthly license. But sometimes the timing isn't right. So in your case, yes. We plan on having additional classes. This one is October. I'm not sure when the next one will be, but they'll definitely be after the first of the year. Let me see. Mark and Troy, what is the most difficult part of your software to learn? Good question. Most difficult part, I'm going to actually say the most difficult part for most people is actually sticking with the trade plan. The actual system itself, because it pre-plots everything, is not difficult. people do have a bad habit of very quickly breaking the rules, especially if they have a losing trade. They suddenly want to fix it, and I'm the same way. I mean, Brian knows this. I mean, I'm a fixer. You know, I want to fix things. So it's weird for me that when you have, it took me a long time in trading to understand this, that it's okay to have these losses, because I immediately like to go to work and make sure it doesn't happen again. Well, that never is going to happen when trading. You cannot fix every loser. So many things are out of our control. That's probably number one, I would say, overall. Number two might be some of the trading instinct, the art of trading that we teach you. It takes a little bit of experience to kind of fully get why we make what I call chart level adjustments. There's two types of adjustments. One is key level, which has to do with these round numbers, and the other is chart level. And it takes a little while for people to understand the psychology of the way the markets move up and down. It won't take very many examples, though, where it works for you to master that piece. That's what I would say. I don't know, Troy, what do you think?
Yeah, well, he's specifically asking about the software. The software is pretty simple. I mean,
Yeah.
Ninja and TradeStation, they have excellent training on how to use their software, and plus we have our live training room, so you know the learning curve is really fast. I mean, I always use the analogy of learning a musical instrument. You know, it's really about repetition, and that's more to do with trading in general. You know, you get your repetitions, and the great thing is you could do it without risking money. So, you know, the tools are there, and learning the software is the piece of cake. The hardest thing is what you said, Mark. I really think it's just mastering yourself. That's the hardest part.
I think that's what Chip was asking, really, like he just said here. He said with the whole system. So yeah, I think we really, you know, kind of those definitely would be the things. That'll be the hurdles for some of you, for sure. Doug says, let's see. Okay, how do the indicators and tools compare to other products, NetPicks products? Obviously, we've been doing this for 17 years, so we have, as you know, other products and courses out there. The PTU is definitely completely original. It's proprietary. It does absolutely work with price action, which of course, you know, is important, and that's the way that I think will work over long term. But things like SST, the one thing that we felt maybe that we weren't able to cover because, you know, we weren't able to put together the full training is we really scratched our head on SST and even HVMM before, how often we weren't able to get people from the point of seeing it all on their chart into their brokerage account. So the whole idea behind developing like a comprehensive curriculum like this, a lot of hand-holding really, is because there was this disconnect, something that we were missing. And the more we looked at it and the more people we talked to, and we talked to a lot of folks just like you, that's what it came down to. We needed to add a lot more training, a lot more support, a lot more education to the PTU strategy. So the system itself is completely independent and different, but it's all the other, I think, missing pieces that really did it overall. I want to ask actually an interesting question, and there's still quite a few of you listening in, and we've had a lot of people sign up, as you know, but there's still some of you, I'm sure, that are on the fence. I totally understand that when I'm looking at an investment like this. You know, there's a lot to think of and a lot to process. I'm actually going to ask you guys who are, you know, still hanging in there to put into the text, you know, what are some of the things that are just preventing you from going ahead and jumping in? One of the reasons that it was kind of my idea, and I hope it was a good idea, some of the others here thought it was kind of crazy, to do the $397 all in, you know, the $18,000 value, and let you guys start for that, is because I was like, you know what, once people start, it's like they're going to be addicted. They're going to want to be part of it. You'll never want to let go, and that's good for us. It's just going to take us longer, you know, on our side financially, and I thought that was the way to do it. So I think I would like to ask, if you haven't jumped in and done the prepaid, or at least done the monthly, what is it maybe that's making you hold back? What is it that maybe we're not answering, or kind of the disconnect? I'm very curious, so if you guys can think about that and type that in, because I'm not sure if we're even going to keep the $397 going, because if, you know, if we don't have a lot of people just jump on it, then, you know, there's no reason to go ahead and offer that. Let me see, is there a deadline? Well, that's one question here from, I'm going to say your name wrong, I'm sorry, Astier. So no, I mean, there's a deadline obviously on the offer here today with the Kindle, etc., which may be gone at this point. The mastermind, for sure, you want to be a part of that. I think that's really important to jump on that. And I'm not sure about the monthly license if we'll keep that going, but we'll still be enrolling people here for a few more days. You know, if you may have some questions that you want us to answer still, I totally get that. Yeah, Dennis, I totally get you. You know, a lot of you, right? Let's go back. He gave me some feedback here. let's go back to the beginning, right? 80, what was it? 83% not yet profitable, but 2 to 5 years. Now, if I would have asked you how much you spent on other programs, I know the average is $5,000 to $10,000. I've asked that question many times, and 1 out of 5 of you have already spent over $10,000, but you're not getting the numbers, and so I get it. But I'm hoping that you see, just get started with the 397, if nothing else. Yeah, I know that's a little bit of a risk there, but it's 397. We've been doing this for 17 years. You can probably hear the commitment in our voice. You had Mona on there a little while ago telling you guys how well she was doing. I can't guarantee anything. I can't guarantee that the first trade you take will make all that money back, but I think you'll be fine. I really think if you just kind of put the time and effort in, you're going to be very happy overall. But I understand completely. Sometimes, you feel like you've been burnt a little bit in the past. But the other thing I ask you is also make sure that that's truly the reason. Sometimes I know for me, I've bought stuff and I never give it the time of day, right? I don't actually put in the time and effort. We are going to ask you, to do that. Yeah, JJ, that's a good point too. You're saying very similar. You're just concerned. What if I don't profit and make the money back? I mean, I get it, and that's again the payment plan, the monthly license, giving you some of those other options. I realize it's taking a leap. I'm asking you to take a leap today. I realize that. I'm asking you to trust us, but we didn't just start NetPicks this year. We didn't just start a year ago. We started 17 years ago, and you heard from me, you heard from Brian, you heard from TJ. A lot of you kind of know Will, you know Ron, you know Mike. I mean, we're real people. We're just honestly like all of you, and I think this is a great opportunity. I can't force any of you to do it, but I think at some point you do have to take the leap. That's why you guys are spending this much time with us today. I have a day job, so yeah, Luke, that's a great point. Totally get it. I think for you, I'm not sure where you're located. Are you in the U.S.? Are you in Europe, Australia? You may want to focus in on swing trading. If you're just not able to day trade during U.S. market hours, that's fine. You just kind of want to focus more in on swing trades than day trades. Smallest account, yes, some of you have some concerns about account size. I would tell you on futures, I personally wouldn't start with maybe less than 5,000. Can you get by with 4? Probably. Brokers will let you start with $500. It's not advisable, but you can. That would be what I would suggest, just trying to give you the most responsible answer, not just trying to sell you. On Forex, I know you can start with $300, but I'm going to tell you at least $2,000. I mean, it's just the place that you want to start on Forex. And I would suggest if you can do more, because you'll be able to trade less risk per trade. And psychologically in the beginning when you're learning, that's going to make a big difference for you. Let me see some of the other reasons. Yeah, not in a position time-wise to commit. That's from Graham. Yeah, totally understand that. It is the reason we tried to make a lot of what we have self-paced. We kind of felt we were very scheduled the first few classes where the undergrad, the majors, everything was live. It was not as self-paced, so I think we've kind of accommodated. But, without question, you have to be able to commit some time to this to make it work. So that definitely makes sense to me. Scott, now you sound like somebody after Brian's heart. Brian's a guy all about physical silver, so totally understand it. One of these days we'll have Brian tell some of his silver stories and his trips back and forth from the vault in his lowrider. So Brian, maybe one day you'll have to share that with everybody. It's great stories. Brett, yeah, same thing, been burnt by other courses. Again, I understand. This is a leap for you, and sometimes you guys feel like, you've made a few leaps and it hasn't worked. I understand that. Again, I just keep going back to the same things. I realize $4,000 is a big leap for a lot of you. I think the monthly, hopefully, is not, and you're willing to give us that opportunity. What you're going to learn, I'm telling you, in the prereq, is worth every dollar you're going to spend, just that alone, and then start to add on the trade plans, the times of day to trade, just that knowledge, knowing when is the best time to trade these markets and when you should quit, knowing the concepts behind power of quitting and how much of a difference that's going to make in your bottom line, understanding chart level adjustments. These are skills you'll be able to use in any trading system and really for life, so the value is definitely there. And then, of course, we all want you to just literally straight up make money from the existing systems. Yeah, commitments, I understand, totally makes sense. Sometimes it's hard to find the time. I mean, all of us, probably a lot of us have family, kids, personal obligations. It happens. I understand. But I think most people, can find some time. Even my schedule, I know I'm very overscheduled a lot, but it's interesting when I really want to do something, I can kind of find the time. I know, TJ, right? You've got the wife, you've got the couple kids, you trade, you've got SST, you have a lot of obligations. I mean, how do you do it? How do you find the time?
Well, yeah, you have to be organized. But the irony is, Mark, that, I mean, everybody's busy. We all live in a busy world. You don't have the time, but at the other hand, the reason why you want to do this is to get your time back. I mean, so you invest a little extra time up front, but in the end, you win back a lot of time because succeeding at trading, I mean, there's no other profession like it. That is how you get the lifestyle to pretty much fire your boss, not have to go to work, and live and pursue your interests that you want to pursue versus the stuff that you just have to pursue. I mean, that's the whole reason for trading in the first place.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, it's you do it. Maybe you sort of take it on the chin for a little while, and you kind of make that sacrifice, and then ultimately it ends up being that type of thing that you just invest in yourself. I mean, it's not always easy because sometimes, I mean, we all know this. It's just hard to ever find the time, and a lot of us table things. I mean, I've done it too, and I procrastinate like crazy. I'm a master at it. But you know what? If you sometimes just bite the bullet, how much happier are you that you bit the bullet and just did it? Even if it's a little tricky, you're almost always much happier that you did. Yeah, Scott says he's going to join us at the live event. I know there's been emails going out too. For those of you guys are definitely invited to come meet us live in October. We'll be in Dallas and Los Angeles and San Francisco and Chicago and New York. So definitely come out for that. We'll be presenting on PTU again. So that may be a better opportunity for some of you as well. So look for those emails if you haven't already signed up for that and you're still kind of on the fence. That may be just another opportunity for you to come meet us, see us, hear from us. You'll see how genuine we are, and join us for one of the live events. I apologize, my voice is going. I've been struggling with being sick, and I'm starting to feel like I'm definitely getting towards the end there as far as the talking here. So, but the good thing is we've got some more. Okay, JJ, wow. Okay, so you spent 20,000 Australian dollars on a course. I won't mention from who. Yeah, okay. Well, I'm really sorry to hear that. Obviously, that hurt. Huge investment. I mean, I do feel terrible for that. I'm not sure what to really say to make you feel better about that, but yeah, I don't know. I don't really have the great answer on that. In this case, at least, we're nowhere near that scale, and we're really saying that you can kind of put the money out there and see the systems perform and the trading. I mean, I know we talk a lot about systems and indicators and entries. I don't want to really not emphasize enough the training. Think back to the slides about an hour ago when I showed you what training does to mechanical, 30% to 80%. I'm not kidding. I mean, I don't care what you're trading right now. If you have something that's working, learning some of the things that we know about these markets, you can add percentages onto what you're even currently doing, if nothing else. So, just kind of keep that in mind as you go through this. Seeing some other feedback. Are the signals 24 hours? No, I mean, you can get setups over 24 hours. Markets trade over 24 hours a lot of times, but they're crap for 22 hours. I mean, I'm just trying to be honest with you. I'm not going to make it easy on you and say, yeah, take any signal. They're all great. They all profitable. 80%, 90% of the day or night is not worth it. It's not worth your time and your effort. I'm trying to kind of save you time and hopefully maybe in some way save your life because you can't trade 24 hours a day, 5 days a week, and it's not necessary. There's a reason we focus in on 90-minute pockets of time, typically maybe 2 hours or even 30 minutes sometimes, because that's where the profits are. How does it work in the evening? It kind of depends upon the plan. You might be saying evening in the U.S., and I'm not exactly sure your time zone on the question. That was from Ken. Maybe specify where you are in the world. That might help me.
Mark, I would say for evening trading, I mean, for me it's great because I love end-of-day charts. And we haven't talked much about the new strategy that I'm coming out with, but I'm really excited about it. It will be part of the PTU. It's a big bonus. No one realizes it yet because they haven't seen it, but I've been trading it now for quite some time, and I love the end-of-day charts with this new strategy. And so That's what I do in the evenings. I mean, that is my evening trading.
Yeah, good. I mean, that's a good point. So I think there's always opportunity. I know that's a limitation for some people. Ken, you were saying, okay, so Eastern time frame, yeah, I mean, obviously the swing trading opportunities are where you want to be. If you cannot day trade at all in U.S. market hours, the day trading European hours is probably not going to be perfect for you. Maybe it is. I don't know. Maybe you're a night owl, and that could work. There's definitely opportunities in the DAX, the Eurobond, the Eurobobble, the Euro stocks. They're great markets, but they're going to be a little challenging if you also need to go to work at 8 in the morning, New York time. So you're going to want to focus more on the swing side of the equation. And actually options trading, I mean, what a great opportunity. I mean, a lot of people forget about options. I mean, we get so hung up on Forex because there was so much marketing done over the last 5 years on Forex, and I like Forex, but I don't love it as much as all the marketing. I think options is really where a lot of you, especially if you can't day trade, should start to really think about. It may be kind of foreign to you, and it may not be Forex, and that's what you've heard about. It's going to blow you away, the opportunities, and it's kind of the easiest thing to trade. I mean, you check on it a few times. You definitely can have a day job. I mean, I just can't stress enough how well you potentially can do, and it's one of the easier ones to learn. It's definitely easier to learn than day trading, and it's really actually easier to learn than swing trading. Arlene says, I loved your Renko bars, but see only one chart in this presentation. Yeah, I mean, we really focus on range bars with this. Can we use Renko with the PTU, Arlene? We can, but so far I've just kind of done all the plans based upon range bars. We may see in the future that I may release some Renko plans. I actually have some in the hopper. It's just a matter of getting them out there to people. How long does the training take? Well, in October, Colin, the cool thing is you're going to have the prereq and the undergrad, and you can really be diving into the major. So not long at all. I mean, that's the cool thing on the first basic month. You're going to get exposure to all of it. I don't expect you to be a pro PTU trader and have mastered everything, in just a few days. Give yourself a little bit of time, but you're going to get exposure to everything pretty quickly. Edlin, no, you're not obligated. If you're on the monthly license, you're asking if I'm obligated to pay the full amount after a couple months. I realize it's not for me. No. If you're on the monthly license and after the first month you're done, you're done. Just let us know, of course, please. And that's it. No harm, no foul. We can still be friends. It's not a problem. The indicators won't work anymore. The system won't work anymore. But there's absolutely no obligation to us. So don't feel like you're signing, I don't know, some kind of contract and commitment. You're not. All right. Well, I mean, I think we're at the end of the questions. The last part there was awesome. It was great feedback. Kevin, thanks for suggesting that. That was definitely really insightful. The theme that we kind of saw from people who are a little bit, still on the fence. On the screen is contact, email, the enroll. Go ahead and get started. I just can't stress it enough. But if you've got some questions, we didn't answer everything you need today, you would rather talk to somebody privately about your situation, or you still have some more questions you want to talk tomorrow, get on the chat with us, send us an email, give us a call. We're here also to talk to you. This won't be the only time you'll hear from us. Be more than happy to do that. TJ, anything you want to kind of wrap up with, at this point?
Well, I want to welcome all the new members and encourage everyone thinking about it to, really think about the big picture. You're investing in yourself. These are skills that you will have for a lifetime. And I hope to see a lot of you soon, especially at the live presentations that we're doing on the roadshow. But thanks for spending the time with us, everybody. And thank you, Mark, for letting me participate in this webinar.
No, thanks as always, TJ. Definitely appreciate it. Brian, anything you want to throw in before we let everybody get on with their lives?
Just welcome to those that have signed on board. I know a number of individuals are mentioning they're considering, and we are more than happy to speak with you. Brett, Jay, I just messaged you, and you said you're going to sign up. But if you have any questions at all, give us a call, and we'll be happy to discuss this in more detail with you. Thanks again for attending today. Thanks, Mark. Awesome presentation.
All right, everybody, appreciate it. Good trading. If you are trading in the markets tonight or tomorrow, hopefully everything will go good for all of us. And I look forward to talking to hopefully a lot of you anyway in the undergrad. Take care, everyone.